Have you ever felt like you're always the last one chosen, left out, waiting, overlooked, like your value is decided by other people's attention? He lived like that for years, the last picked in games, the last to be heard in meetings, the last call when something good happened. It hurt quietly every day until one ordinary morning when a small moment, nothing dramatic, just a single question rearranged everything inside him. What happened next didn't change his job, his bank account, or his friends. It changed who he believed he was. This story is for anyone who feels invisible. Listen close, because identity doesn't need permission. It needs one honest truth. He was called Raj. He was kind, careful, the one who made tea for everyone and apologized when he took the last piece of cake. He had steady hands and a quiet smile. People liked Raj gently in passing, but they rarely invited him into the center. He moved through rooms like a shadow that kept its distance because being small felt safe. Every morning, Raj prepared the same ritual: a small coffee, a practiced joke, and an expectation of being last. At work, he'd wait for praise to arrive like a delayed train that never came. At family dinners, he'd let others speak first and sit back while laughter wrapped around him like a blanket he wasn't. He allowed to share. He learned to measure himself not by his own light, but by the space others left for him. He didn't see his own worth yet. Deep down, Raj believed being last was a trait, not a situation. "I'm not the kind of person who stands in the spotlight," he told himself. That thought repeated quietly like an old radio hum. It shaped his choices. He stopped applying for promotions. He stopped speaking up in meetings. He even stopped believing his own ideas were worth sharing. One day, a team celebration arrived. They were handing out awards, and Raj, as always, smiled with the crowd while thinking, maybe next year. But when the leader read the final line, his name, Raj, was called for a small, surprising recognition, for quiet dependability in making this team better. It was meant to be a mindful nod. But the room's quick applause felt like a ripple on a pond, not like a wave. Raj was grateful, but something else happened. He felt the old belief shift, not because of the award, but because of what he felt afterwards, an emptiness he expected to be filled, but wasn't. After the event, an older colleague, Myra, stayed behind. She wasn't loud. She sat with Raj on the empty balcony and said, "You were last because you let the line tell you where to stand." Her voice was soft, like the calm you hear after a storm. But being last isn't who you are. Her presence was a gentle hand guiding a lost plant toward sunlight. Mira used a simple image. "Think of a seed," she said. "A seed doesn't ask the other seeds how tall it should be. It only finds soil, breathes quietly, and grows. Some seeds grow under trees. Some push roots through cracks in concrete. The seed's worth isn't in where the sunlight hits first. It is in its insistence to keep reaching." Raj listened. He saw himself as a seed that had been hiding, waiting for permission to sprout. He thought about the moments he'd stepped back. He realized he had mistaken silence for humility and invisibility for modesty. He saw that his identity wasn't a fact carved into stone. It was a decision he'd been repeating. And decisions can change. The thought arrived slowly and then clearly. "I have been acting like I'm last because I believe that story, not because it was true." He felt the ache. He wondered why he'd stay small. He tried a small daring thing. And then he learned something that changed him. The next morning, Raj did a small, quiet thing. In the morning meeting, he raised his hand just once and said an idea that had been in his notebook for months. He didn't shout. He didn't demand the spotlight. He simply spoke, calm and clear. People listened. Someone nodded. Later, his idea was used. The shift wasn't explosive. It was a seed unpacking, a tiny root finding new soil. Raj felt a new truth. He could occupy space without drama, and that was enough to change how others saw him and how he saw himself. He began to practice small ownerships. He took the lead on a small task. He accepted a compliment without immediate deflection. He claimed his time on a Saturday to finish a course he'd been postponing. Each small choice rewired his inner voice. The people around him adjusted naturally, not because they were forced to, but because he stopped apologizing for existing. Identity is not the echo of the room. Identity is a quiet seed deciding to grow. You are not last because others place you there. You are last only if you let that be your story. There is a difference between being gentle and being invisible. You can be gentle and still take the chair. You can be kind and still raise your hand. Real worth doesn't shout, it shows up. If this touches you, try one small thing this week. Say one idea out loud. Accept one compliment or claim one 10-minute block that's just for your growth. Notice how the world shifts not because it has to, but because you have. You are not defined by where you stand in somebody's list. Your worth is yours and it is real. You are not defined by being last. You are not a shadow. You are a seed. You are enough. The world needs the way you grow. If this helped you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today.